All right, how you doing? I wanted to ask a question.
Sure.
Occupy Wall Street, the movement. Just trying to figure it out as a mainstream person from the Midwest. I guess my first question is, you're here. What would it take for you to leave? What would have to happen?
Well, right now, when you say leave, we inhabit America.
I assume you're here at this protest to accomplish an agenda.
Yeah. Well, the agenda is going to be. We can reason about it. We can talk about it, but we're going to discover through a process of inquiry what the facts of the world are. You can be told the facts, and they may correspond in some degree, but we need an inquiry to find out what has actually happened to our country. We need to see with our own eyes and discuss and figure out how our country is now constituted. And that's a process that needs a vocal populace, and to have speech that matters, it takes space. It takes space to engage others. It takes space for the power structure to be forced to acknowledge you. The official narrative is one thing. The world is another.
What is the official narrative? What is the?
I would go just what do you hear in the media? That is, when you look for what is the middle of the road. You identified yourself as a man in that middle of the road kind of place.
Right.
What are you told? What are you acculturated into? What are your assumptions? What are the things you and your viewership or listenership have learned before you even knew what learning was?
Well, I don't know if I want to get that heavy, but I'll tell you.
It's heavy, but it touches everything in your life.
I'll tell you my question about
so that'll get me a little more on track if you ask me.
One more question is a lot of people seem to be trying to usurp this movement. You see conservatives trying to usurp it. You see liberals trying to usurp it. You see the usual suspects, the polarizing figures like Al Sharpton, and I've even heard some anti-Semites come out and try and.
I'll take that. That anti-Semite, there was a fact check. There was like a homeless guy and there was like a Jersey Shore guy, and they put him in a commercial. Not literally Jersey Shore. There was this kind of clown of a man. These are two guys. They had the High Holy Holiday there for Jewish people, and there was klezmer music a few days ago, and I've seen people with payas here, and we're all getting along fine.
Okay.
And what was the other question?
Well, no, that was it. I guess the expression I would use is the movement doesn't seem to be singing out of one hymnal to focus on my.
Well, America has a lot of problems, and these problems are going to come where we're talking and we need to discuss. Your brain doesn't have a little man pulling levers. There's parallel processing, information's going all sorts of ways, and we're sharing information much the same way, like a neural network. And will come a point where we'll have a better understanding. Are there a number of small problems to be dealt with, and a good number of them is a question of a larger structural critique. Is the foundation in some way at fault? These are a lot of questions. We've had an inquiry that's been very superficial about what has happened in this country. And the movement, if it's worth anything, is worth it. It's only a real movement if it's a real movement in rural Kansas, a real movement in a Chicago ghetto, a real movement in Upper West Side Manhattan. It's a movement for everyone in this country, and it'll have ramifications for the world. And that needs to be understood by the people in the world and in this country, and they can reject that. They can say it doesn't represent, it's not the correct mode to express our concerns. But we need to have that process of discovery. Technology has enabled people to connect in a different way, and in some ways, to some degree, we're exploring that capacity for connection. And what comes out of it, the upshot is not known. And for some reason, that's a problem. We all fear fatalism. But now suddenly the fact that the upshot of it is not known, and that's the problem, I don't think it is.
I don't fear it.
A lot of people do.
I think there's, what you're saying is very valid. I really think that, we need, the discovery process is essential, but what happens next is the key. because I think we know a lot of what happened.
We know a lot, but do we know it in a sufficiently interesting way for the difficulties that may present themselves? A lot more perception has to do with how you interact with others than is commonly believed. You can go in a room with 3 people, and if there's a guy, and you can look at it, well, go in a room with 3 people, say 3 people, and better put it this way, and you put a green screen on, and one of them is a ringer, and he said he's paid to say that it's blue, that green screen will seem bluer to the 2 other people. A lot of what we perceive is a product of our interacting with others, and this is spatial, this is to do with colors, and a lot of the world is, there's a lot of ambiguous, we think we know what it is, there's another way of interpreting things holistically. All these things sound big, but they trickle down, that's the real trickle down. These philosophic issues, these economic issues, these issues in science, these are all connected to the lives of your grandmother, and anyone else you can name, and that's true, and I stand by that.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
It wasn't a